Hello, Legal Rebels listeners. We'd like to welcome a new sponsor. Support for this podcast and the following message come from Thomson Reuters Westlaw Edge.
Welcome to the ABA Journal Legal Rebels podcast, where we talk to men and women who are remaking the legal profession, changing the way the law is practiced, and setting standards that will guide us into the future.
Welcome to the ABA Journal's Legal Rebels Trailblazers podcast. I'm Angela Morris, your host today. Today I'm talking to Tom Martin. He's the founder of LawDroid, a company that creates chatbots for lawyers. A chatbot is an app that uses artificial intelligence to mimic a conversation with a real person. Hi, Tom. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Angela, and thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Before we get started, we want to thank our sponsor, Answer One, for its support of this show. Their virtual reception service is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to handle inbound calls, schedule appointments, and even respond to emails. Check them out at answer1.com/podcast for a special offer. Okay, Tom, I'm excited to talk with you. I want to ask you some questions about chatbots in the legal industry. First of all, it seems like there are good examples of busy work that lawyers do that could be taken over by chatbots. And can you talk to me about that? Like, what exactly are the examples of busy work that chatbots would excel at?
Well, I think that's a good point. It is about busy work. We're not talking about automating being a lawyer. So amongst what lawyers do, there is some, administrative stuff. There's repetitive, busy work that can be automated. One of the best examples that we've tackled is through a bot we call Reception Bot. Mm-hmm. And so it's something that lawyers, they don't have enough time for, which is initial client contact. And it's probably one of the most important things, is reaching out to potential new clients and engaging them, providing them with information, and then hopefully getting them as a new client. So lawyers just don't have enough time to do that and go to court and do the pleadings and everything else that they have to do. So we've come up with a way to automate that.
I see. So if I'm a person interacting with one of your reception bots, how does it work?
So I think a lot of people at this point have seen like a live chat widget on a website. And not everyone has that, but some people do. And usually the way it works is it's staffed by a real human being, but the problem is most of the time it's not. So the issue is that people come to the site, they see this widget, and they try to talk to somebody and nobody's there. So what we've done is we've created a solution that works for everyone. It works for all lawyers, and you can put it on your site, and it works all the time. It immediately engages the potential new client, asks for their name, introduces itself, lets them know that it's a bot because it's important to be transparent, and introduces them to the firm, just like a receptionist would. These are the services we provide. These are the lawyers that we have. Here's answers to frequently asked questions. Building trust with that initial contact is extremely important. And then ultimately, if they're interested, it can book a consultation for the lawyer with this new potential client. So it's running 24/7, 365. It is scripted by the lawyer, so it's not going to make any mistakes, and it employs best practices.
Okay, wow. You mentioned earlier that, a bot isn't going to take over the job of being a lawyer, but I could see in taking over this busy work, it would give the lawyer more time for, real lawyer to client human interaction. What do you see lawyers doing on that front with the extra time they might get from using a chatbot?
I think lawyers will have more time to focus on the human element that really provides value for the client. So from the client standpoint, from a customer standpoint, the things that really matter are that reassurance, are that being able to go to a lawyer and feel that their matter is being handled and that they have confidence in that lawyer. And that all comes from those human interactions that they have with the lawyer. And I think if a lawyer doesn't have to deal with all the busy work or less of it, they'll have more time to reach out to their clients more often, have that human interaction, have meetings with the clients, keep them updated, and that will just ensure greater customer service and more confidence in the lawyers by their clients.
I don't have to tell you this. I'm sure you know all too well. Lawyers hate risks. And I'm curious to know whether you have heard lawyers kind of express common fears about using chatbots. I mean, do you hear the old robots are coming to take our jobs thing? Or what are the concerns they express to you about this decision to use a chatbot?
Well, I've had the good fortune to speak at a few different conferences about chatbots. Mm-hmm. And so I have gotten some direct feedback from lawyers about that. And I mean, first off, I have to say a lot of all of the customers we work with are very like early adopterish. So they don't have as many concerns about that. But the ones that I have talked to at conferences, for example, that have expressed concerns is basically due to a lack of familiarity, I think, with the technology. Once I have a chance to actually speak with them and familiarize them with what it does, which is basically doing the same thing that a receptionist might, or that your website might already do, they become a lot more, at ease with it. Because your website, for example, it has sometimes FAQs. It has information about your firm. It says what your working hours are. It has all that information there. We're just putting it in a conversational format, and it's much more approachable. And some lawyers might wonder why then, if it's on my site, do I need to have a chatbot? It's already there, so why do I need this? And the answer to that is the data shows that 69% of consumers, they prefer immediate engagement, just as we all do. Everyone's walking around with their phone. There's that immediacy of a conversational interface, where you're texting, where you're getting a response that just works. That's what draws people in. And so if you go to a static website, an old-fashioned website that most everyone has, it just falls on deaf ears because they don't see any interaction and they bounce out of it. The bounce rates are incredibly high for lawyers. So what the bot does is it creates that immediate engagement that everybody is looking for, and that's why it actually, results in better lead conversion.
Okay, wow. That's really interesting. So before we move on, Tom, we're going to take a quick break to hear a message from our sponsor.
The Insights from the Edge podcast series brings you the latest legal trends as Insight attorneys sit down with industry experts. Stay informed on the latest topics, including our latest episode on the importance of adopting technology early and some of the big milestones in legal technology that change the way legal researchers do their work. Check out this episode and more on The Legal Current from Thomson Reuters.
Is your firm experiencing missed calls, empty voicemail boxes, and potential clients you'll never hear from again? Enter Answer One Virtual Receptionists. They're more than just an answering service. Answer One's available 24/7. They can even schedule appointments, respond to emails, integrate with Clio, and much more. Answer One helps make sure your clients have the experience they deserve. Give them a call at 800-ANSWER1 or visit them at answer1.com/podcast for a special offer.
We're back. I'm Angela Morris, and this is the ABA Journal's Legal Rebels Trailblazers podcast. I'm talking with Tom Martin of LawDroid. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Angela.
So we've been talking a lot about chatbots and what they can do for lawyers. I wanted to ask you a little more about your company, LawDroid. I noticed you formed it in 2017, and the very first thing it did was it helped people create business and corporation documents. And now you're creating chatbots for lawyers. And that's an interesting change or metamorphosis. And can you kind of tell me the story of, how your business has changed over the year?
Sure. So yes, when I originally started, I first came up with a consumer-facing product. So it was one where individuals who wanted to start up a business, they could easily do so by answering a few questions on Facebook Messenger. And then the bot would take that information, create incorporation documents for California, and all they would have to do is sign it and mail it in, because unfortunately in California, you still have to mail in your incorporation documents. But the change in focus is because I actually have practiced for 20 years as a lawyer. I have a lot of experience with what lawyers need. And so it occurred to me that this technology could really be put to use by other practitioners like myself. And so I pivoted to offer the service to lawyers because I thought that it was a real no-brainer to kill the busy work and to help them do more with less, and to get more time for themselves, for their family, for everything else that they'd like to do, and to have this automation, which is not only bots, by the way. In bots, we have that reception bot, but we also have the paralegal bot that can do post-retention work in terms of intake for a new client. We also have a new product we rolled out a little over 2 weeks ago called LawDroid Voice, which is a voice assistant, kind of like Alexa or Siri, but it's made for lawyers, and it currently integrates with Clio. So LawDroid is about automating lawyers' law office to make their lives easier.
Yeah. Okay. So aside from LawDroid and Chatbots and your other products, you also co-founded Vancouver Legal Hackers. It's a group of lawyers and technologists and academics. Y'all get together and kind of brainstorm technology solutions to common legal issues. I'm just wondering, what are big hot topics that y'all are talking about right now?
So that's exactly right. I co-founded Vancouver Legal Hackers with a few other gentlemen that are fantastic leaders in their own right. One of them is a co-founder I started with, Joshua Lennon of Clio. Yeah, what we do is we try to have meetings that bridge the gap between the legal and the tech. So we have lawyers, but we also have developers. And so we try to find topics that interest both. So initially, we had probably some legal heavy topics that we're talking about the future of law and chatbots and things like that from a lawyer's standpoint about how they might use it and how it could be helpful to them. More recently, we've had some meetings that are more developer friendly. So for the coders, about what opportunities there are in legal tech to help lawyers and to maybe make their own apps and bots. So the focus is about exploring these different opportunities for the lawyers and for the developers. Maybe a hot topic right now is, blockchain, for example, and what its applications might be to the legal industry. And of course, AI continues to be an extraordinarily hot topic in the legal industry.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Just a moment ago, you were mentioning the fact that you've been a practicing lawyer for 20 years. And also, you had this desire in forming LawDroid to just help lawyers to automate their busy work and give them more time. Now, this is something you've kind of put into practice. I think in 2006, you formed Foresight Legal Group. It's a California probate law practice, and you were using high-tech tools there for your practice. Can you tell me a bit about that? What high-tech tools do you have in your own practice?
So that's right. In 2006, I founded my own law firm after working for a number of other lawyers. And one of the things I wanted to do differently from what I saw was to employ technology to make things easier. So just kind of the same thing I'm doing now with LawDroid for others. So in my own practice, I always loved mixing, tech and the law together. So I would find solutions to make repetitive tasks easier. And so I was continually developing things with my own staff and developers that I would hire to streamline the process, to make it easier to, let's say, send out an engagement letter, right? We would use document automation for that, which, in 2006 was a little ahead of the curve. Now it's pretty commonplace. Yeah, it was really my love of technology that I used throughout my practice. And I had various experiments. One working relationship I had was with LegalZoom early on, which also helped to further my interest in the crossover between law and technology. Later, I founded a startup called LawDeal with Alan Rodriguez, formerly of LegalZoom. He now has 1-400, and that was a really interesting venture. I learned a lot from that. So it's just kind of been in my blood to do this kind of stuff. And when Chatbots really, exploded about 2.5, 3 years ago, I thought that it was a real sea change, and that's why I jumped on.
Cool. I'm so happy to have the time to talk with you about this today. I could keep on going and going, Tom, but sorry, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for your time today.
No, thank you so much, Angela. I really appreciate the invitation to speak with you. And I really hope that people don't worry about robots taking over, because they're really here to help and to get out there and just to experiment with them, test them out.
Okay, all right, great. That's a great ending note. I'm Angela Morris, and you've been listening to the ABA Journal's Legal Rebels Trailblazers podcast.
If you'd like more information about today's show, please visit LegalRebels.com, LegalTalkNetwork.com, subscribe via iTunes and RSS, find both the ABA Journal and Legal Talk Network on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or download the free apps from ABA Journal and Legal Talk Network in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.